My name is Eddie Derouen. I live in Plaquemines Parish, Louisiana, which is about 50 miles south of New Orleans, along the Mississippi River. I met George through his website right after Hurricane Sandy, or Superstorm Sandy, devastated pretty much the East Coast, northern East Coast. And we share a lot of the same concerns when it comes to the National Flood Insurance Program. After Katrina, my house was pretty much demolished. I had a wall and a half left. We had some water. We also had a lot of wind because I live about 10 miles north of where Katrina made landfall. So through some lengthy discussions with some people with the National Flood, I talked to a lady by the name of Dorothy Martinez. She's in charge of about 7 states.
Right.
And I talked to her. We wanted to elevate, since we had to rebuild a house, I wanted to elevate.
But you were forced to elevate also, right? Were you substantially damaged?
I was destroyed.
Okay. So you elevated your house after you rebuilt it.
What I wanted to do was, before they had any kind of regulations, what to go by.
Yeah.
I had a guy that was going to put some concrete pilings. I was going to put my floor 8 feet.
Yep.
Just because I wanted to, if I had to, start over. And it was going to be in the existing slab, and I was going to put another slab. Okay, I had a price. So Dorothy Martinez with the NFIP said that I would get no more credit past 4 feet.
Above the BFE.
That's right.
Okay.
So I said, well, I'm not going to spend $35,000 if I only have to go up 4 feet.
Right.
From my floor.
Got it.
So my original mound that my slab was on was actually a foot above my base flood elevation. So now I'm actually about 52 inches above the base flood elevation. She told me that I would be grandfathered in, and as long as I kept my policy current, that it wouldn't change.
Right.
So I did everything that I was required to do, permitting, state, everything, building codes, and now they want to come up with a new map. That means my floor has to go up 12 feet. So that means
they raised your elevation again?
Oh yes.
12 feet?
That's what the new map says.
So now what are the implications now when the new maps are finally adopted?
Well, the implications are if you want to afford flood insurance, you have to go to that elevation. If you decide not to, then you'll have this no telling how much we're going to be paying because we haven't seen any figures yet. Right. But being in some of those meetings, I saw the escalating rate. Yeah. Because they want this actuarial humbug. So
the question to ask is, what is your actuary rate going to be if you don't raise your home a second time? Is that correct?
That's right. And nobody can tell me that.
So how high was the flood level when it destroyed your home?
9 feet.
9 feet above your mound?
Well, let me tell you what happened. We have levees in Plaquemines Parish.
Yes.
We call it a back levee, which is a saltwater marsh levee,
yep.
and a river levee.
Okay.
I live between 2 breaks. The levee broke. A pipeline ruptured in one of them because it eroded and the surge stretched the pipe and it broke it.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one was just poor maintenance. Okay,
right.
So I live with
that the Army Corps of Engineer had to maintain?
It is a federal levee, yes.
Right. So the Army Corps of Engineer levee system failed and you got charged. The flood insurance policyholders got charged because the Army Corps of Engineer failure.
That's a good, it's a good angle.
Just so you know, Garrett Graves has a PowerPoint presentation stating that fact. Congressman Garrett Graves, who was a floodplain manager of Louisiana, has a...
yes.
Go ahead.
And then what happened was we had actually about 9 feet of standing water for about a week, and then it stood for about 40 days after that at about 4.5 feet because they were trying to plug these holes, and the tide would come up. Wilma came in the Gulf, brought the surge back in, so... but the whole parish, there's a floodgate in Oakville, which is about 30 miles north of where I live. They put this huge floodgate, it's a noise protection.
Right.
Okay, in Upper Belchase. But the lower end, they're trying to redo the marsh, the seashore, and all these things to kind of knock the surge down. But right. Our levees are good levees now. They were poor levees before Katrina.
So you should get credit for having a stronger levee system.
They said we're going to get credit. I may only get 50-year protection, which means my rate's going to be higher than somebody lives in New Orleans.
I know.
But we're supposed to get at least 50-year.
Well, and how long have the levies been completed now?
Well, they were completed in 2006.
And has FEMA credited you for that levy that's been completed 8 years
They
later?
must have, George,
Okay,
because
you don't. Okay.
my rate is not.
How did we meet today? So you called me three and a half years ago, and today we're in Denham Springs, Louisiana, which is about 200 miles from where your home is.
140.
Okay, and whose home is this?
This is my parents' home.
And what happened to your parents' home?
Well, my parents had left Derouen, Louisiana, which is south of where I was living, because
Right.
of the hurricanes and the flooding. So they bought a house here. And they did have flood insurance up until about 2 years ago, and they kept telling them, you're not in a floodplain. You don't need it. You don't need it.
Right, right.
So they dropped it.
Okay.
So here we are today, same humbug that I've seen quite a number of years ago, and dealing with FEMA. I will say that some of the field agents that I've dealt with, they're good people.
Yeah.
It's the administration part that I just can't understand.
Yeah.
You know, what A and B and C are doing.
Yeah. So let's talk about substantial damage. What do you think has to happen if this home is substantially damaged? Now, this home had about 3 or 4 feet of water, and we're assuming it's substantially damaged. What do you think are the options of your parents' home? Now, is your parents' home, has it been